I think you liked him too much.
I didn't like him too much, but
You like
that
motherfucker.
I don't like him.
You want to act like you don't, but there was moments in that where I was just like, oh, he doesn't hate him.
Yeah, this time I didn't have that static like I did.
He's kind of likable.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Even
if
after
you
the
guys
fight.
were in different weight divisions, you'd probably root for him.
Yeah, definitely. I did. Even when he was fighting for the middleweight title against Romero for the vacant title, I was rooting for him because I wanted Oceania to have a belt, to have a champion.
Yeah.
And I even said that in the media day on the press conference. I said like what he's done from tough nationals to the middleweight belt was amazing. From our side of the world, he was one of the first to do it. So I was like, yo, we can do this. I already knew we could do it, but for him to do it, I was like, yo, we really got one of us. In a sense,
there was a moment where I was watching the first round. You were just super dominant in the first round.
I was on,
and I was a moment where I was like, "Don't take your fucking foot off the gas," because there was a moment where you were just landing kicks. You were just chewing up that leg.
Yeah,
and I was just like, "Oh, I hope that he doesn't just cruise."
Yeah,
because when you hate a motherfucker, they go bald.
Yeah,
right.
They lose their hair.
Violate them, truly.
Yeah,
in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
But after the first round, one thing I wish I had done was ask Eugene what dropped him, because it felt like nothing to me. Like, and I didn't even know what stance I was on, because I'm not really like actively thinking. It's just muscle memory and instinct. And I wish, because the first time I fought him, right.
Straight left, right?
Yeah, straight left down the pipe, southpaw.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at the time. And the first time I fought him, I called an audible. I was in the cage, and I just felt like, you know what, I'm gonna match this guy's intensity, and I did. And I was just feeling myself, feeling my instincts. I wish I'd done that a bit more this fight. There was a time, maybe in the second round, I was like, man, I'm feeling better southpaw, but I was like, let's stick to the game plan, like Eugene said. I wish I'd called an audible and just stuck more southpaw, because I was fine. I was fine southpaw. He couldn't touch me.
Yeah.
And that straight left was landing, and I could have changed that up a bit, and the kicks as well.
That inside leg kick was
exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
But I wish I trusted my instinct more. But I was like, you know what? Last time I had a great result last time when I followed my instinct. So I wish I'd done that now. But I'm gonna watch the fight again and really like soak it in. But right now I'm still just going off what I felt after the fight.
So sorry, follow up to that. How do you tap into that when you don't have, you're not going to have the smoke for people. People are going to have the smoke for you. That's the thing about being the champ.
Exactly.
Everybody looks at you. There's kids you've never heard of looking at you like, I'm going to take that motherfucker out. How do you find that spark? The static, like you said.
Like, this is one thing I really enjoyed when I watched The Last Dance. And I took that personally.
Yeah.
Even if nothing was said.
Yeah. And this is one thing that happened.
I made that up personally.
Yeah, like I've done that before in my head. Sometimes I'll kind of like, it's everything's a story we're telling ourselves. What story are you telling yourself?
Yeah.
So each of my fights has a narrative. Like, example, the Costa fight, right? The narrative in my head was like, fuck this cunt. He reminds me of all the fucking assholes that used to pick on me in high school.
Yeah.
And he was like the quintessential jock. And the way he was acting as well fitted the role. So I was just kind of like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna take him out. And the first Whitaker fight, the way he was, like he was getting real cheeky and smirky like that. He was like that cool I remember at the press conference before the fight. We were in Melbourne in his backyard, and it was like that kid just like talking shit and had his posse, the whole crowd kind of like hamming it up and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck these bitches.
He's too comfy.
Exactly, too comfy. Yeah. This time it was quite humble and just respectful about, because I whooped his ass, so he had nothing to say. So for me, it's something I have to go back and just look at within myself, and I think I have an idea of how to get it done.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much
I wonder
away.
if you're at the stage of your career where you have to start building up your opponents.
I kind of do. I've done that already. I've done that with Jared. I've done that with Darren Till. I've done that with a few other guys, just to kind of like, show, because they're dangerous dudes, but a lot of them, I feel like I said, I'm gonna run to the same problem Silva ran into, where it's like, people are just gonna be scared to go after you because they know what happens if they go after you.
Yeah.
In the fourth round, I was like, we expected him to come crazy because even his coaches, apparently, I haven't watched the fight, but they were saying you're losing. You need to like step it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the fuck he thought he won if his coaches were saying you're losing this fight.
Don't even worry about that.
Yeah.
I guess when I was like,
he and Vittori sipped the same wine Costa had. That's why.
Remember, like, you'd see this in boxing matches. Sometimes you see it in MMA as well, like where you go to one of your potential future opponent's matches and you sit in the front row.
Yeah.
And I used to see that and I'd be like, oh, do they just really love boxing? And then I start to realize, no, this is promo.
Yeah.
This is building the stakes. And I'm looking at the UFC roster, and the UFC does a great job of promoting fighters, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And especially if there's a fighter like you and there's other guys like Connor who know how to promote themselves.
Yeah.
So that's just pouring fucking gas on the flame.
Facts.
But we're in a situation where you're by far the most like famous and dominant person in the division.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you going to actually have to start building up the other
own
guys in the
fights.
division
Yeah.
so that there's more anticipation when you fight them?
I think so, because like people kind of know now. Even with this fight, with the same thing with the Vittori fight, people already know. Like, okay, he already beat him before.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do it again. The Costa fight was crazy because like people were, like I said, he looks like that,
That was great.
quintessential
It
cunt.
was great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
it
way
was
he
great.
looks, he
Yeah.
looks like a Hollywood dude, muscles and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm like, the skinny boy is gonna, the skinny clow, as
I
you like
love
to
that
say.
you call yourself the skinny kid.
I am.
Fucking 200 pounds, 6'4".
Yeah.
So crazy.
Like you're
I am
a
skinny.
dominant human being on 99% of the planet.
Yeah.
There's one big juiced up Brazilian guy that makes you look skinny.
Yeah, and I was like, I bet, watch this.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. That's how. So I
Tap
feel like
into that them childhood traumas.
yeah. Oh no, I got the chips and the dip, man.
Yeah.
Like trust me, I got the chips and the dips, man. Like, and this is one thing I like. I haven't even, you know, like sometimes I've been called to the jungle in my time to like go partake in plant medicines, but I'm like, you know what? What if I get there and I like actualize what I'm trying to do and realize where my faults are and my childhood traumas, and I unpack a lot of shit. What if I then lose that edge? It's kind of like in
Yes.
if you guys seen Avatar,
Yeah.
Prince Zuko, when he finally became friends with Aang, he couldn't firebend anymore. And he's like, what the fuck? I can't firebend. And it's because he didn't have that drive.
You lost the fire.
Yeah, he lost the fire.
I agree with you. I don't
Yeah.
want to fix this shit yet.
Yeah, so for me, I'm kind of like, nah, I like being petty.
No,
If this shit is the furnace.
Yeah,
right?
it's one of, like
no,
definitely.
I think
It
it's
adds
really
to it.
stupid that you say it as a
Yeah.
comic, but as a fighter,
I need to take on the world. I can't fucking tell my dick jokes. How can I possibly do that without anger and hatred for
Yeah.
all who oppose me?
And need people to like me.
how am I gonna make people
Watch
laugh
me,
without hate?
please.
There's nothing like MMA.
Clap for me. Thank you. Same thing. I feel the same way.
Join the strangers.
Yeah,
But for a fighter, it makes sense. You're out there fighting for your life. You have
Yeah.
to tap into that fucking
Yes.
primal thing.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
like caveman shit. We got to live.
Yep.
So
Facts.
I see for you, that is a thing that I'm like, yo, that's for. I want you to be out of MMA quickly as my boo.
Yeah,
I worry about your
yeah.
health.
Thank you, babe.
And then you do all that shit, and then we flourish as a couple.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, a couple goals.
Yo, you
Fuck
were the
Alex
first
Jones,
one
by
to
the
boo
way.
about Kosh. You know
Yeah,
what I
oh,
mean?
yeah.
He's trying to
Everybody
step on
trying
my.
to
He's
jump on
trying.
the
I
bandwagon,
know,
yo.
right? I'm like, bro, relax.
taking,
Roll
dog.
the tape. Roll the tape. Look into my eyes.
How many
Remember.
laps you sat on, Akash?
Remember?
Slut? This motherfucker be sitting on everybody. It was you. It was Alex
Hey,
Jones.
traveling all the
Yeah.
time. What am I supposed
Yeah,
to
that's
do?
true.
I
You
know.
left
I
him,
got
though.
lonely.
I know he had
You
to get
left him.
married, all that. I understand though.
We'll
I
work through it.
understand.
We'll work through it
Yeah.
after,
Easy.
when you
Yeah,
do all
once
the
that
herbal
lockdown is
medicines.
done.